And welcome everybody, I'm your host Doug Jardine. This is Chamber Chat. We love to get together with respective heads of chambers of commerce locally and talk about what's happening in Ogden, Weber, and Davis counties. We're going to do that again today. We've got Jim Smith, who's a brand new entity in the Davis Chamber. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I had the opportunity to be here last month, but actually before I was official.
Oh, so, well, we don't do anything unless it's official here.
Right.
And then we've also got Dave Hardman, who you've met since about 1933, I think you've been heading.
Gee, thanks a lot, Doug.
Yeah. No, but Dave, it's great to get together because there's usually lots of smiles, and there will be that today because when we talk about chambers of commerce here in Ogden and Davis County, we're talking about good things happening and a lot of things happening. We're going to talk about a full plate that you have, Jim, upcoming. Okay. Dave, run with it for a second. Tell us what's happened in the last little bit here in Ogden, Weber.
A couple of major events that have taken place in the last little while. Our Top of Utah Business Expo is always really a very successful event. This year it was even more successful than normal. We held it out to the Golden Spike Event Center, and we completely sold out on our booth this year.
Yeah, I tried to get in.
And one of the things that we really thought was exciting is that our vendors really felt like they had a great opportunity there to actually sell merchandise, and that's what we want them to do. This event is just for our members to get benefit out of merchandising, creating partnerships, and we started it off with a rather unique way. We've had seminars before, but normally they've been in the middle of the day or the end of the day. This time we started out with a seminar that began the early part of the day to kick it off. We brought Sam Bracken in. Sam is the global marketing and development manager for Franklin Covey, and just did an amazing job of a wonderful crowd. We had about 180 people to that event, so that dumped that many people into the tube the very first thing in the morning. And we had fun events all day long, and topped it off with our business after hours that's always very popular. In fact, this year we probably had close to 500 people there. Our grand prizes this year were a netbook computer and a flat screen TV, and of course people love to come after stuff that are great prizes and that.
Consumers need
but
incentive.
Again, the feedback we got from our vendors was that we really did. In fact, there was one of the guys that sells printers, software, and so on, and he said, I got more actual business out of this one-day event than I got out of the two-day event in Salt Lake.
Oh.
So that's really a nice thing to hear.
Okay, next year you go bigger and better next year then probably.
The other thing I wanted to visit about was something that Jim had the opportunity to go to for his first time this year. For the last four years, we have participated with the Utah Procurement Symposium. And heretofore, it's been in Salt Lake at the Southtown Center. Mm-hmm. This year, they came to Davis County at the Davis Convention Center, and we really pushed. A lot of our team members pushed pretty hard to get them to come up north. We had a sellout. Over 600 people came to that event. They sold out all the booths. This is the whole focus of this particular event is to bring business directly to the companies in Utah that are sometimes going elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this is our military contracting business, but a lot of it is also state and local government business, as well as other federal institutions. This year, over 50% of the people who attended were first-time attenders. And this procurement strategy, it gets us about $300 million in new Utah-based business contracts each year.
I wish there were more people in the state that could see this particular television channel, and as you expand everywhere, maybe Bill. But there are so many good things happening in Ogden, Weber, and Davis counties that I wish other people could see it. It seems like other people kind of go through the steps, but you guys lead them and say, follow us. And that's kind of a new position for you, because here you are a month in, and you look at what the predecessor has done, and then your mind's full of great new ideas. But talk about your last month, what the whirlwind of activity it's been, and then maybe a couple things you have upcoming, Jim.
Yeah, it's a real challenge right now. We're trying to, I've got a lot of people to meet and things like that. I mean, that goes obviously, but boy, on top of that, there's, as Dave mentioned, that the PTAC event was just a tremendous success. It was fun to be part of that, you know. Yeah, we're trying to go maybe fine-tune, refine the direction that we're going to take the chamber in Davis County. There's lots of opportunities there that I don't think we have fully penetrated yet.
Well, there better be a lot new ones, because that's what they'll be anticipating from you as a new director.
I noticed that there's kind of an expectation that way. And you know what? That's the fun part of this job. And I bring, seems like a lifetime, but it's 37 years worth of banking experience, and spent all that time, you know, helping small businesses be successful. Hey, let's do it now for the chamber. And so we're going to really focus a lot on the education aspects, how we can make these various companies more successful, you know, in short term and long term.
Well, what's very interesting for me as I talk to the two of you is obviously what makes this nation go is a small business person and the 3 to 5 or 10 or 15 employees. But also you sit here with very, very large employers in these counties, in these areas. How difficult does it make that to then go ahead and pattern your particular chamber to meet all of those needs of those diversity of business?
Yeah, and there are many things that they have in common. A business is business, but at the same time, there's many things that are so desperately different. And so we're trying really to focus on making sure that we reach every one of the constituencies that we have. And so we're focused on providing a special service for those small businesses, the home-based business. And yet at the same time, we're trying to deliver a meaningful package to the guys who own multinational businesses and huge employers in our market. It's not one size fits all. And so it really requires, I'm sure Dave has the same issue, it requires just a multifaceted approach to how we approach all of the different contingencies there that we have.
So we're doing that, Dave. Are we being successful in this area?
The reality is it is a smorgasbord.
Yeah.
We have to provide a number of different services and benefits to really appeal to a number of companies. I met with a company today that's fairly new, and it's a Davis County company, by the way.
Hey.
Wait, what does that mean?
These guys provide some very unique services to primarily large companies. They're going to do a seminar for us. They joined their chamber today, but I'm sure they'll join yours as well, Jim.
Thank you.
But this organization goes in and has the IT capability of actually analyzing information from your history and determining a way in which you can close some loops. You can shut off some water that's leaking. And literally millions of dollars to companies in savings that are dollars sitting on the table. And this is the kind of thing that we like to offer to our businesses, is to look for new opportunities that we can expose them to find ways of saving money. As we know in the business world, a dollar saved drops to the bottom line. A dollar increase in sales, you only get a piece of that on the bottom line. So when we can't control ourselves into profit, but we can certainly make a big difference on the bottom line if we can find ways to improve the efficiency of an organization. That's one of the things we want. I wanted to just mention that we've got a couple of things that we're really focusing on right now. It's the end of the year. As we approach that time, we also look for legislative time, and I know that our team in the Davis Chamber is doing the same, but we're looking forward to our legislative period at the first of the year. And I know some of the legislators are not looking forward to it because of the difficulty that we have with budget. We're looking at about $850 million of deficit this year that we've got to make up, because, as you know, our state...
That went up from the 700 that I just heard yesterday.
Well,
I wonder what happened.
It depends on who you talk to.
By the time we
Republicans or
get this ready
Democrats.
for programming, it'll be another 150 million.
Yeah.
more.
But the bottom line is that we have to look at ways to trim and
Sure.
ways to look at new revenue.
Just like
for-
every
for this
family in
year.
the state.
And so our focus now turns to legislative in trying to help and support these programs. As we mentioned, the procurement program is one of them that we want to not. That's a program that actually returns dollars to the taxpayers, not takes those dollars away. U-Star is another one that's returning dollars to the taxpayer. And so we want to not cut those kinds of programs, but look for efficiencies that we can hope for. And also protecting some of the most important things, like education, that we really need to make sure that we're not shorting there. yes, we can have some efficiencies, and we've done a great job in, especially northern Utah, Davis, Weber counties, with our schools being able to, they've had a little bit of rainy day funds that they've utilized, but those are drying up fairly quickly. Rainy day, dry up.
Yeah, okay. I'll follow that.
Today, a little snowy day. Hey, I was just, you mentioned Sam Bracken's speech. Apparently, that's running right now on Channel 17, so you can
really?
watch all day long,
That would be
24/7. You'll
great.
catch that and this show.
Now, we were happy that Sam was interested in having us tape that, and he's going to utilize the tape for his promotion of his new book, but he gave us the rights to go ahead and utilize it in our community, so a good opportunity.
Is it a difficult thing, Jim, as you start to look at Davis County and Dave, as you look at an established position here? We look at Provo and we say, okay, that's kind of high tech. We look at Salt Lake City, we say, okay, there's the financial base of the state. We look up here in Ogden and say, okay, mayor's going after high tech or high adventure type things. Now, maybe a naive question for you, but with your banking background, do you try and finagle some additional financial things happening in Davis County, or where do you see Davis County saying, this is us, this is our new personality?
Yeah, you know, it's the one thing you can't forget is that Hill Air Force Base sits right between Weber and Davis County.
That's right.
And no matter how you slice that pie, Hill Air Force Base is a huge contributor to our economy, you know. And yeah, we have some wonderful things like they do. Weber State and their Davis campus has just been a tremendous success. DATC has just grown tremendously. We have some neat things that are spinning off businesses, but we also have such tremendous opportunities working with Hill Air Force Base. The procurement symposium was just a perfect way for some of our local businesses to learn how to deal with the government. You think it's just like any other contract. It is not. It has some very special restrictions and terms and conditions you comply with. But once you learn how to do it, it's a tremendous resource for us. So,
and at least for now, although the Air Force is probably always re-looking at what it did, it hasn't been too many years ago that we almost had a major scare here. I mean, that was mid-90s, wasn't it?
Yes.
When
Well, there's
that
no
whole
question. Those were
regrouping of those. They're probably always looking at realignment and that type of thing. So
Yeah.
you guys have to
The
take
thing
care of that.
It is a very important and sensitive thing right now. Fortunately, our beginning speaker for the symposium last week was General Bush. And he was very careful in helping us understand that although there's some blackness out there in the military side, there are also some very bright stars. And he believes that we have some really wonderful opportunities to actually build some of the new assignments for Hill Air Force Base. And I was pleased to hear that directly from him. And he'd been at the Pentagon the prior week getting some briefing. But the bottom line is it is a very important thing. Last week we had a resource meeting that we spent with all of the players in the aerospace industry in northern Utah. As you probably are aware, we are designated in Davis and Weber County as the aerospace cluster for the state of Utah. We have 5 major clusters, and this is one of the bigger ones, where we have the majority of our aerospace businesses clustered together, and in doing so, there's some real efficiencies and opportunities. So what we met about was how we can turn what we have as a great success into even a greater success by reaching to smaller businesses as supply chain for the larger businesses, synergizing between some of the bigger businesses to look for contracts that they can't handle on their own. There's some real opportunities out there that we need to analyze and find out if we've got the full supply of outfitters for a particular mission on base, and make sure that we're not having to go outside for those supplies. So it was a great opportunity. They're doing it throughout the state on the other clusters, but to have ours the first shot and a very good success. So they'll come out with some great ideas that we can utilize in reaching out to more business.
Well, this will be kind of fun over the next couple of months to get to know Jim a little bit better. If somebody wants to get to know you better, oh, that's you they want to get to know better, but that's okay. And we just call this Chamber Chat. We probably could chat for another 3 or 4 hours seriously about it. But we want to welcome you and wish you all absolutely all the best in the new position.
Thank you very much.
As you look around the state and ask those who've been in positions to help out, I'm sure they will.
Already spent some time with Dave learning how it's done.
Well, that's good.
Well, you know, it's nice to work with Jim. He and I have known each other for a number of years, and and just hadn't seen each other for what, 10 years?
At least, yeah.
And to get reacquainted is a great opportunity. We have a good structure in the state to work together.
For both of you, throw out a nice web address for folks that want to get in touch with the Davis Chamber of Commerce.
You can always go to the Davis Chamber. DavisChamber.com is out there.
That's the DavisChamber.com.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Ours is echamber.cc. We also own OgdenWeaverChamber.com, but echamber.cc.
Oh, very
Short
good.
and sweet.
all right. Well, Jim Smith and Dave Hardman, thanks so much for being with us. We'll probably do this again soon, and maybe we'll talk a little bit longer next time.
That sounds good.
In the meantime, have a great holiday season too, as
Good.
it's upcoming. That's been
Thank
Chamber
you.
Chat. I'm Doug Jardine. Until next time, have a very pleasant good evening.